Show your face. Show your face, please. With sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, Gunna's lawyer, aka Steve Sado, I think that's how you say his name, Sado, he came out and issued a statement for people calling Gunna a rat. Now, before we get into what he had to say via Twitter, I do find it pretty interesting and funny how he came out today and issued this statement January 3rd, 2025, whereas Lil Baby dropped his album today, January 3rd, 2025. Now, to be honest with y'all, do I think it's like a play to get everybody away from Lil Baby's album, or I don't know, whatever the case may be? I just find it very interesting that he chose to say what he's saying today, which, you know, Lil Baby is dropping his album. Like, you know, what a coincidence, right? And it's funny because on this same album, you have Young Thug. They have a song together with him, Baby and Future, whereas you kind of hear Young Thug alluding to people, quote unquote people, being a rat, and he don't hang with rats. And you also have Lil Baby on the album as well, you know, kind of throwing shots, talking about rats and stuff of that nature. Now, of course, I don't think that's why Steve Sado is saying what he's saying, because I doubt he listened to Lil Baby's album. Like, let's be real here. You know, if he did, kudos to him. However, let's get into the statement that he had to say about Gunna and the people that feel that he cooperated. Now, I'm gonna tell you how I feel after, because honestly, I don't care what Steve, Neve, Deve, or anybody say about Gunna cooperating. I know what I heard and seen with my own 2 ears and eyes. We'll get into that after. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Now, Gunna's attorney, aka Steve Sado, he would take to a tweet and he would have this to say, as he would say, quote, "I was Gunna's attorney, but I am not speaking on his behalf. This long post is solely to set out the truth. Gunna did not cooperate and did nothing and said nothing to cause harm to Thug's case. He spent 8 months in jail and was released in December 2022 after entering an Alfred plea. Gunna's plea could not and was not used at Thug's trial, and he was never even named as a witness. He received a 5-year suspended sentence with no reporting, no travel restrictions, no living restrictions, and no probation. Over the last 2 years, from media reports, he has performed all over the world, achieved international fame and recognition, and earned millions of dollars. Conversely, Thug went to trial and eventually pled guilty in Nolo after spending 30 months in jail, receiving 15 years probation with reporting conditions, and is not even allowed to live in Atlanta. Those that have and continue to badmouth Gunna, get over it. Enough said." Now, the fact that he says get over it like that should just let y'all know that this man don't care about anything involving the culture. He got a job to do, in which I don't know why he made it his business to actually come out and say that, you know, Gunna's not a rat and speak on his behalf. In the beginning, he said that he's not speaking on his behalf, but he still proceeded to speak on Gunna's behalf. Right? And to be honest with you, since when did lawyers care about what people say about their clients? Right? I never seen a lawyer come out of nowhere and say, well, you know, stop saying this about my client, he ratted. Like, since when did they care about, you know, hip hop music and what people had to say about hip hop artists? This is kind of weird within itself, but like I said, no coincidence that Lil Baby dropped his album today, and he decided to issue a statement today via Twitter as well. Now let me tell y'all this, right? For the people that quote unquote don't think Gunna snitch or whatever he did, of course they're gonna say that it had nothing to do with Young Thug's case because Young Thug didn't go to jail. The only bad part about that is he did plead guilty against his lawyer's direction. His lawyer did make it very clear that he didn't want Thug to take that plea because he felt that it just didn't make sense and he felt that they could beat it. However, I could say this, right? If you ever been to jail, and once again, I'm not glorifying it, it's easy to say as a lawyer or somebody from the outside looking in, no, do not take the plea, just wait it out. You gotta remember, as I'm quote unquote waiting, in which this thing can last how long, I'm in jail. I'm away from my family. I'm away from my kids. I'm away from just living everyday life, and I gotta be in this filth. So once again, it's easy to say, oh, he should have just waited, he should have did this, but you aren't in that man's shoes. Now, do Young Thug regret that he took that plea? I mean, freedom-wise, probably not. But I don't think he really realized what he'll be having to go through in the next 15 or so years. Now, like they said, he got 15 years on probation because he took the plea, which means the time is still on the table. He just, can't get in trouble. If he does get in trouble, that time comes back and he could spend however long they tell him to spend in jail if he violate any of those conditions. And if y'all remember, Meek Mill did speak out and say that being on probation for just 9 years, I believe, was crazy. So 15 years, you can't get no police contact. You can't nothing, right? You can't violate no conditions. I don't know if he got a curfew. They said he can't be in Atlanta. It's just a lot going on. And Steve Sado, Gunna's attorney, he did mention that. I don't know why he made it seem like it was a bad thing, but you gotta remember that's Young Thug's conditions. So it's just something he has to abide by for now. And he did speak on Gunna not having no probation, being able to do certain things and travel the world. It sounded like it was a little subliminal. I don't know. But here's what I could say, right? These days people like to insult our intelligence. They like to make it seem like we don't know what we seen or heard, and play all these psyops games. Let me tell you this, maybe y'all forgot that video where he was in court saying yes ma'am, yes ma'am. Matter of fact, y'all check this out.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
Now, I'm not here to convince you to believe that Gunna did snitch, nor do I care if you believe he did or not. Here's what I am going to say. Stop trying to insult people's intelligence. If y'all remember the video that came out, she asked him, the judge, specific things in which he replied, yes, ma'am. Here's the questions that she asked him. She said, quote, YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. He replied, yes, ma'am. Right? He said yes. It's on record. Then she also said, quote, you were present with Young Thug when hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you. He said, yes, ma'am. So once again, if none of that, the firearm, the drugs, if it wasn't his, then it was whose? Alright, now the judge concluded, quote, I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community, the judge concluded, in which Gunna replied, yes, ma'am. Alright, so I'm not going to go back and forth, and you know, we already covered numerous stories based on this. At this point, it's up to y'all discretion. You want to believe whatever you want to believe. If you still want to support Gunna, then it is what it is. If you're not in the streets, who cares? If you feel that he didn't snitch on you or cooperate on you, who cares? But don't sit there and try to insult our intelligence and try to say that he didn't somewhat cooperate, because the whole point of what Young Thug and his defense team were trying to do was convince them that YSL was not a gang. Because when you're caught up in a RICO, the last thing you want to do is say that you are a part of the gang in which the RICO indictment is on. So if he's trying to convince the courts that they aren't a gang, but a co-defendant is saying no, they are a gang, what do you call that? And then the co-defendant comes out. All right, so like I said, I'm not here to go back and forth. It is what it is. I just wanted y'all to see that. The lawyer, Gunna's lawyer, is coming out saying he didn't cooperate. But if he didn't cooperate, then what did he do? That's the question that, you know, we should be asking. Because once again, we've seen the video with our own 2 ears and eyes. But y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. I'm out.